I'm feeling the word ascend here, to
transcend.
Yeah, to become better than your base instincts, to transcend and include in Wilburian language. Yeah, it's I think an awful lot about how at the mercy of the confused chemical signals of our body we are. The reason that we do many things is because of the paths of least resistance, or societal norms, or what we learned when we were a kid, or the way that we dealt with past traumas, or that thing that we want right now.
Yeah.
And that to me doesn't feel like liberation, that feels like slavery. So I had this conversation with Eric Weinstein a couple of months ago about the objective of modern media is not to convince you of any one narrative, but to make belief in all narratives be less certain. And I don't disagree. I think that fire hosing as a tool is very useful in making people uncertain about the future.
Yeah.
What I couldn't get to, and Eric couldn't either, was what is the end goal usefulness of that? Because I don't just see people being pliable, complicit, compliant citizens. I have seen as many, if not more people, use their new distrust in mainstream media and pharma companies and so on and so forth. I've seen as many people use that as the activation energy to become almost rebels as I have people roll over backward and say, please, Mr. Big Government, just tell me what to do. So I was skeptical, at least a little skeptical, that this strategy is either achieving the outcomes that they meant or is actually coordinated, because it doesn't seem to be making a pliable populace as far as I can see. Do you get where I'm coming from? Yeah, it's Alex Hormozi is the guy that I think taught me most about nudging your view of activation energy from just being something which has to be positive sum to being able to use something which is actually a really negative fuel source to kick you out of the bottom. So his idea is people need some sort of motivation, some sort of justification to make changes. Most people have way more pain than they do pleasure. Use what you have.
Right. And that is absolutely true.
And resentment of you. Resentment of your message, resentment of you, of being accused of being the unwashed mass peasantry is also part of that activation energy. Yeah, the reticular activating system is one hell of a drug. You buy a new car, you see that how there were never these many cars on the road before.
Yeah.
It's because you're looking for it. I heard a really phenomenal quote a year ago to do with cynicism. People with low self-esteem will always find a way to be miserable.
Yeah.
And it's this predisposition that you have to look for the thing that you're looking for confirmation bias. The world is the way that I predicted it to be. Mm-hmm. We were talking earlier on about control and the fact that there is a comfort in knowing. And even if that knowing is even if that knowing is not accurate or useful, if it feels like it's predictively correct because you can warp what you see to retrofit what you believe, you end up with a world that feels like it's in control.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this example from Sam Harris is so phenomenal. So everybody has done a tough workout where they're up into zone 5 heart rate and they've got the taste of metal in the back of their throat and they're lying on the ground doing a sweat angel. That, even though objectively it's an uncomfortable feeling, is oddly satisfying because of the story you tell yourself about what that means. I deserve this. This is making my body better. If you had that sensation spontaneously arise in traffic, you would jump out of the car and try and go to the hospital, right? You would think that you were having some sort of heart attack, dripping with sweat and a heart rate and all this stuff. So that proves that the story you tell yourself about the present moment largely determines your experience of it. Yeah. And I think it's the 7 or 9 most meaningful words in all of philosophy. The universe itself is change. The universe is change, and life itself is what we deem it. Life itself is what we deem it. That's